Not everyone is born with a certain level of confidence that will guarantee you success. You actually have to work on it. You have to commit yourself to be working on yourself to build that confidence. And there is a formula. And that's the formula that we're going to be sharing with you in the next lesson. How do you build confidence? I wasn't born with this type of confidence. I actually had to work on myself. I had to go to work. And so you have to go to work. But first of all, you have to know exactly what you're going to be working on for you to become a more confident individual. You're going to set yourself up to success and to more and better. So enjoy. It's quite an exciting lesson, trust me. Cheers.
Here we are in another lesson on Success Elementary, and as usual, how we usually start our lessons, before we move forward, we do a quick recap of what we have discussed about and what we have taught in the previous lessons. So let's jump straight into it. In the beginning, we talked about our identity. The reason why most people can't make decisions, or most people are poor. Poor in the sense that they starve, they lack a whole lot, they lack money. They're poor in terms of money. It's because they do not have any clue with regards to their identity. By identity, we simply mean they do not know who they are. Who are you? From the lesson on your identity, in identifying who you are, we figured out that we are spiritual beings first. We've got an intellect. And we live in a physical body. The major challenge that I used to face before I really got a grasp of who I was I was associating myself. And that could be the same situation with you. Take a good analysis of where you are right now, and you would see that you identify with your name. You identify with your totem. You identify with your work, with your profession. You identify with your house. You identify with your location, where you grew up. You identify with your car. All these things, when they are taken away, when they no longer exist, who then do you say you are? What is going to be that answer that you are going to give me when I ask you, do you know who you are? The same question was asked to me, and I was baffled, because all the answers that I was given was everything to do with me being a physical being. I'm a male, I'm a father, I'm a son to someone. I was identifying myself with everything physical. Gender is a taught subject. Is a taught subject. The same way your name was given and handed down to you by your mother and father. Two people had to make a decision whom they were going to name you. But you're not your name, man. I realized that the soonest I realized that, I was like, my God, this is the most important information that I'd missed. That was the missing link in the puzzle of my life. I didn't have a good grasp of who I was. I was limiting myself. I was full of lack. And the moment that I understood that I'm not a physical being, I am a spiritual being first. Spirit is for expansion and more complete expression. I figured that's why deep down in my heart, I always wanted to grow. I always wanted to jump out and do something. But what was restricting me? What was restricting me was the identity that I used to associate myself with. I used to associate myself with my sex. I used to associate myself with my profession as an accountant. I used to associate myself as my house, where I grew up. I am a ghetto boy. All those are labels. All those are titles that are solely on the physical plane of things. Now that I know that I am a spiritual being, and what is spirit for? Spirit is for expansion and for more complete expression. I now understand that spirit is for creation. And in the previous lesson on who you are, we discussed on the law of creation, where we delved deep into how we as human beings, even the plants, even the animals, the earth, the heavens, all the planets, Mars, Pluto, all the stars, how did they come into existence in the first place? Theologians can refer you to Genesis. One. Go and read that verse again. Go and read that Bible chapter again on Genesis. The beginning, they used to tell you. What that Bible verse is trying to tell you is bottom line, trying to communicate with you the law of creation. How everything else comes into being. It starts off as spirit. And then it is transformed into its physical equivalence. That's exactly who you are. You have got the same capacity and the same faculties that will enable you to convert any spiritual image that you may hold in your head, to transmute it into something that you hold in your hands. That's what the famous author for the Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, was trying to put across. That all the greatest authors, you read their books, even the greatest authors in the Bible, theology and science do not contradict at all. At all. Because they are all based. Soon enough, scientists discovered that, there are laws that govern the universe. There are laws that we need to just obey, such that we start manifesting the things that we want. So by me understanding that I was a creative being, all I had to do was to create whatever. I'm a spiritual being. I'm not bound by any physical barriers. I do not belong to any set of rules. I can do good, create more good, such that the humanity and everything else moves forward. You look at the universe and how it operates. It's forever giving. It's forever giving. But the moment I realized those types of universal mechanisms, I realized that, I needed to start giving. And so I'm standing in front of you here, giving you this information free of charge, because I know it is going to touch someone through to change their life for the better, to really understand who they are, and to really start moving their lives forward, and to expand and to express their full selves. And so, after realizing that, we went on to the lesson of goal setting, where we mentioned that goal setting is a process. It's an art. You just don't wake up one day knowing how to formulate good and worthy goals. We talked about the ABCs of goals. And we mentioned that C-type goals are those that we call worthy goals. These start off as dreams. From dreams, you form, as a spiritual being, you formulate your own theory of how you are going to get to that dreamland. But the problem is we don't take time to just sit down to really understand what we want for ourselves. What is that flickering flame that has long been buried by false information, by false beliefs, by fear, by doubt? What is that? If you take a moment, quieten all the noise, and really go into deep about yourself, you will understand better what I'm talking about. You will get to know exactly what is that dream, what is that fantasy that you want. After having that dream, having a vivid picture in your mind, you can formulate a theory of how you are going to get there. There is no right or wrong theory that you can apply to your goal because it's yours. No one can tell you, no, that doesn't work. Yes, it works. Because it's yours. It's you, being a spiritual being, expressing and expanding your dominion. From there, after formulating your theory, you ask yourself 2 questions. Am I willing? And am I able? All the teachers throughout humanity, they tell you of your abilities. You've got limitless or boundless abilities within you to make any dream come true. So our journey is when you answer your questions, yes, I'm willing. Willingness being your ability to focus on that goal and not deviate and not let anyone come in and tell you anything different. When you answer yes, are you willing? Yes, I am able. That dream or that theory of yours becomes a North Star, becomes a dream, or becomes a place that you can now go, that you can now visit. You have a vivid picture. Now the journey is to move from that goal till it's realized. That's where Success Elementary is coming in. We spoke of the different mental faculties that we have in the next lesson that we did. So we started off here, we went on to here, we came then to goal setting, and then we talked of the different mental faculties that each and every one of us possess. We spoke of memory, reason, perception, imagination, will, and intuition. These are our God-given muscles that we use. Before you embark on a journey, you need to know what type of tools do I have. You take stock of everything that you're going to need throughout that journey. Guess what? Everything that you need is already within you. These 6 mental faculties are God-given. We spoke of memory. You can exercise your memory. There's no strong memory, there's no weak memory. There's no good or bad memory. There's just strong and weak memory. Pardon me on that one. You exercise your memory the same way you exercise your muscles. Find a good book to memorize numbers. Find a good book to teach you techniques of memorizing names. Because you have nothing to lose at the end of the day. If you know someone's name and it is good enough to take you to the next level because they know they are part of you. Now imagine the cost of not remembering someone's name when you meet them the first time and the second time they want to give you a deal and you've forgotten the name. How much is that going to cost you? It's a lack of attention, is it? So you need to exercise on your memory. Remember people's numbers. Remember the numbers. Remember their birthdays. Remember their phone numbers by head. Remember their names, man. Remember their faces. So that you show that you care about them. Being forgetful about something is the most terrible thing that can cost you a whole lot. And a lot of people have been subject to those costs because they've forgotten people's important names, their people's daughters, people whom they've met and they've hung around with, and they ask their name and they forget. Imagine how much that will cost you. We talked about your power to think. We went into deep about the reasoning faculty. A good way of thinking is someone who formulates a goal and let that goal guide their thinking, guide their emotions, guide their actions, and at the end of the day, they will achieve that goal. The road to ruin is when someone looks at their circumstances, look at their conditions, and they let their conditions influence the way they think. If you look at your environment, if you look at a headline which is talking about poverty, if you look at a headline which is talking about sickness, imagine how much that is going to ruin your day if you start thinking of health, if you start thinking of sickness, if you start thinking of poverty. Are you going to jump out to do something positive or to act on something that you have long wanted to act? No. You're all going to be filled up with lack. I don't have this, I don't have that. And at the end of the day, that's your road to ruin. You are going to achieve the same results that you've been achieving all these years. Being stuck and sitting right where you are right now. Perception. Your ability to change perspective. You might be looking at me and think, what is this guy talking about? Why does he know? Just change your perception and think, what if he's right? Imagine how much shift that will have in your life if you just give yourself some time to listen to these lessons and to change your life. You've got that ability, you've got a perception faculty. Any situation that you're going to face with, that you're going to be faced with, you've got the ability to put yourself in a different position and to look at it at another angle. There's no need for you to be closed-minded and to think that because he's not saying things that I'm familiar with, therefore I can't let any of the things that he's saying enter me and absorb. Just change your perception and think, but what if he is right? What if? You've got that ability to change the perception and see how much it changes your life. It changed mine and it surely can change yours. That's why I'm standing right here doing what I'm doing right now. Imagination. We talked of synthetic imagination and creative imagination. Synthetic being, you are now tapping into your history, into your experiences, into your past experiences to come up with a picture that you then go for. Scientists do that. But the major thing that we want to activate and want to exercise so that becomes strong is we want to strengthen your creative imagination. Tap into the infinite. Go. Let your mind stretch. Dream big. Set bigger goals. That was what we are trying to do with the goal setting lesson. Use your creative imagination. Go. Tap into the infinite and create a good picture. That picture that you so want. No one tells you what to do when you know who you are. No one puts any lead towards your dreams. No one is going to put any limit because you're not bound by any physical barriers. We spoke of the willpower, your ability to focus. One technique that I was told to use was sit down and put a dot and just focus on the dot. Your mind is going to tell you, no, we can't be sitting down, we can't be doing this. This is so stupid, this is so ridiculous. It's going to put up a fight. But you tell it, sit down, we are focusing on the dot. That's how you practice your willpower, your ability to focus. It's a good technique. That's why I'm sharing it with you. Intuition. When you're praying to God, you're talking to God. When you're kneeling down praying, you're talking to God. When you use your intuitive faculty, God is talking to you. Give yourself time. Allow the infinite intelligence, the all-knowing, to communicate its experiences with you. That's strengthening your intuitive factor. Allow things to happen. The problem is we think so much that we're in control. Therefore, there is never a moment which we want to allow anyone or anything to come and interfere with our logical mind, with our logical ways of doing things. Because we are so used to doing things in a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the right way. Here we are communicating of a faculty that we all have, me and you. We all have this faculty inside of us. We can use it. We can strengthen it. We can teach ourselves to get out of our own way and let the infinite intelligence guide us. We all have that. We use it sometimes as soon as someone walks through the door, they might be having a bad day. How did you know that? That's your intuitive faculty. We later on went and spoke of the mind. We went into deep about the mind and how it operates, where we focused on Dr. Thurman Fleet's diagram, which he came down, which made it easier for us to understand ourselves. This being the body, this being the conscious part of our mind, and this being the subconscious part of our mind. Mind, body. Mind is movement, body is the manifestation of the movement. This diagram is just meant for you to understand what it means to be a spiritual being. As a spiritual being, you live in a physical body, but how does the spirit operate? You don't have a picture of the same mind that we are saying you are supposed to change. Then how can you successfully change something that you don't have a picture of? Yet your mind operates in pictures. If I say car, a picture of a car flashes on your mind. If I say gene, a picture of a gene comes or flashes at the screen of your mind. You operate in pictures. But if I say mind, you seem to have a confusion. And that's the lesson that we delve in deep to see what do we have, what is that instrument, what is that information that can help us navigate into the journey of changing our minds. What does that mean to change your mind? We looked at the conscious part of the mind where we said this is where your five senses are resident. What you smell, hear, taste, and touch. What you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. These are our five senses, God-given senses. Some do have them, some don't. But we all have a way of communicating with the physical environment that we are all a part of. If someone is blind, it doesn't necessarily mean they're useless. They still have their six mental faculties intact. They can use these because these are the most important ones. They can imagine the world that they've always wanted. They can create that picture inside of their mind. You don't need to paint that picture out for everyone to see. No, it has to stay focused in your mind. Guess what? All you need to do is to take that picture to bring it so that it reaches your subconscious mind. Then your subconscious mind takes over. It's the connecting link between yourself and the infinite mind. It appears to be. No one knows the truth. But throughout history, this information has been used by the greatest leaders. And they tell you that you've got a subconscious mind where all your old programs have been hidden. But it's the connecting link between yourself and the infinite intelligence. So what is it that is running your life today? All those programs are buried in your subconscious mind. You make money, you might earn money. How much have you earned in a lifetime? How much have you earned in 30 days? What is the most that you have ever earned in 30-day period? Guess what? That program resides in your subconscious mind. No wonder the day which you receive a bigger check, which is more than what you have received, you are in a state of shock. You go spending. You don't even know what to do. You don't even know what to buy. You're just buying everything. You're just borrowing everyone. Everyone is coming for something because now they realize you've got cash. Why? They're all being controlled by your subconscious money paradigm. Before you know it, boom, the money is gone. All you're left off with are the same things that you said you didn't want. But at the end of the day, that's what you have because that's what your money paradigm has always been programmed to have, to make you have. You see how powerful the issue of paradigm goes. Paradigm is a multitude of habits. We defined paradigm as a multitude of habits. Some habits are good, some habits are bad. We jumped onto the knowing doing gap. What people know at the end of the day is not what they end up doing. Because what controls the action of the body are those mental programs that are in their minds. in the subconscious part of their minds. How did those programs ended up being there? You inherited them from your mother. You inherited them from your father. No wonder you look alike. To add on to that, the environment in which you grew up in. Who told you that the food that you eat is nice food? Your parents did. They made a decision. Somewhere down the line, someone decided that if we kill chicken, if we kill cattle, we can have its meat and cook it like that, and it is nice to eat. Who told you that? Your parents did. Your grandparents did. So some of these programs were handed to you genetically. So when you eat a pile of sadza, when you eat with chicken, it tastes good. You didn't have to think consciously if you liked it or not. You just came here liking it. So it's not an accident. So the issue of paradigms is very important. But what you know, all this information, you can have it. All doctors can have everything they know about that. But is that what they're doing? No. So we took up the journey to analyze the knowing-doing gap. What people know and what they do are totally different things. It seems like the more they grow older, the less they do. And it's so frustrating. How much information you know. You've gone for 16, 20 years at school, but you seem to be stuck. You are stuck because the programs that are controlling your actions are buried deep in the subconscious part of the mind. And you are going to have to embark on a committed journey to change that mind. That's why we studied this picture by Dr. Thurman Fleet, and why we are explaining further why people don't do as they know. They don't do at all. They don't take action on what they know. They're busy talking negative stuff. Negative stuff is out of ignorance. They don't know about this information. Even if they know, they'll end up associating with negative stuff. At the end of the day, it leads to doubt and worry, ignorance. On a subconscious level, it breeds fear. Chronic fear leads to anxiety. Anxiety leads to suppression. Suppression, depression. Depression, decay. Go back into the lesson and see what we mentioned about how negative and positive information has got an impact on the way you think, on the way you do things. How it's affecting your health, how it's affecting your relationship. If you are hanging around people who gossip a lot, if you are hanging around people who don't do anything but talk of other people, you saw misery loves company, man. I've been told. I never understood what the statement meant up until I realized this is what they were meaning. People who associate together in misery, they want to be more, they want to bring more people to the party so that they share their sorrow, they share their pain. Why? Because they're all being run by their subconscious programs. Predominantly, they are negative people. When you start being positive, they ridicule you. They tell you it's impossible. What I'm telling you today, because you're a spiritual being, you're not bound by anything, you can do almost anything that you want to do. Anything. All you need to do is to stay on the positive side. Stay on your goal. Keep that goal right direct in your mind. We later on went to analyze the different stages of growth. Now that you have decided to grow, now that you know you're confident of who you are, you have decided to go on a journey. What are those stages that you are going to go through? So I'm going to wrap the board and we jump on to the stages of growth where we talked of the fear that keeps people where they are. What is happening when people are fearful? What is really happening? What is that connection between their conscious mind and their subconscious mind? You need to understand that so that when it is happening to you, it's not a shocker. You exactly know what's happening and you know exactly what to do. The problem with fear is it won't exist when knowledge and faith are existing. You need to take care of that fear. And so, I'll wrap the board. We spoke of the first stage of growth, which is bondage. By bondage, we mean someone is bound by their subconscious programming. They think X-type thought, they've got an X-type conditioning, they will do X-type actions and get X-type results over and over and over again. Because what is making them do what they're doing is their subconscious mind programming, in their paradigm, their habits, their behavior, their action. As soon as they change their behavior, as soon as they change their actions, their results will automatically change. So that's the journey which we want to go through. How then do you change your habits? How then do you change your behavior? As you start entertaining a new idea, let's call it why. Now you are starting to imagine things. Now you are starting to think. All of a sudden you have woken up with, oh my God, I almost wasted half of my life. Half of your biological life is gone because you never sat down one day and started to think. Now you have started thinking, but you are playing with the idea in your conscious part of the mind. You're using all that creative imagination, you're using all that synthetic imagination, all that information that you've gathered all through the years. You're using it to bring up a picture in your mind. But guess what? The X-type conditioning is still there. As soon as that idea stays in the conscious part of the mind, as soon as that idea or that picture resides in the conscious part of the mind, you're not going to do anything about it. You're going to put it aside. Because your old conditioning is going to come up to deflect and tell you where are you going to get the money. Who told you you can film? Who told you you can teach? Who told you you can run? Who told you you can start a business? Has anyone in your family or in your whole generation started a business? Where are you getting these ideas? Your old self is going to come to deflect your new idea. And guess what? If you entertain and accept that and not make a decision, or if you're going forward with it or not, what is going to happen is you're going to still act in an X-type way. Your body will vibrate in an X-type way. You're still going to do the same things that was giving you same bad results. Guess what? X-type action, X-type results. This stage is called the reasoning stage. Here, nothing changes. The same way, nothing changes. Now, if you keep playing with the idea in your mind, if you keep playing with the idea, the new idea, why? Such that why hits your subconscious part of the mind. This, means when that new idea hits your subconscious part of the mind, you are now going to go into an XY vibration. What is an XY vibration? XY is confusion. XY is fear. Now that you have brought the new idea into the territory of the old ideas are going to put up a royal battle. You might cry, you might break down, you might fall sick. All these three things describe one thing. This is the brick wall that you are going to come face to face with. This state is chaotic. chaos. Bottom line, this is the fearful stage of your life. It's going to come up and put up a royal battle, something that you have never seen before, because you are dealing with generations of programming that have been passed down from your great-grandfather. Now you are about to change it. You won't change them that easy if you're not mentally focused, if you're not mentally strong for these type of experiences. They are going to scare the daylights out of you. You're going to be like, my God, what have I done to myself? The first week I went to gym after 15 years of not even exercising one bit. I felt sick. I started puking. I caught a fever. My body was in shock. Terror was unleashed by my own body, because now I'm trying to change the old programming, the X-type conditioning. It's going to put up a royal battle. You're going to become fearful. If you back down, yet I back down and say, because now that I've fallen sick and every inch of my body is itching, is aching. I'm catching a headache now just because I tried running 2 kilometers. And I listened to that and not got up the next morning to do the same thing. Reconditioning your old paradigms is not meant for kids. It's not an easy game. But I had to get up. Back sore, arms sore, legs sore, headache. Puked the very morning when I jumped out and I said, I'm going to do this regardless. And I listened to my body. I would bounce back. I would bounce on this wall and feel relieved after all. What was I about to do? Running, I knew running wasn't my thing. You see, that's your old programming. It wins. Now you've bounced back. X-type conditioning, X-type thinking, X-type actions, back to your bondage stage. But I said no, I was not going to do that. I was not going to let that happen. I was going to go. Rolling. Right. So we were talking about what actually happened. This is a personal experience that I'm sharing with you. It has been years that I wasn't in the gym and I wasn't in the culture of exercising my body. And the very first week that I started running and going to the gym, exercising, you know how the excitement goes. Now you've got a new idea, right? You've got a new idea, but you still have the old conditioning, which has been genetically impressed in me, plus the society in which I grew up in. No one was exercising. I never saw one day my father exercising. And so it was for the first time that I decided to come up with an idea that I was going to improve my health, and therefore physical activity is essential. So I went into the gym, didn't ask any personal trainer of anything that I had to do. I fully went full throttle on the machines, tried them all. My guy, as soon as that idea hit my subconscious and I started acting on it, my body put up a royal battle. I went sick. My urine turned black. Every inch and every ounce of my body was sore the next morning. My wife got worried. We checked into a hospital and the doctor laughed because he knew it wasn't his first time coming through such an experience. And I explained to him that I've never exercised before and this is my first week into the gym. And he explained to me that it's a new habit that you're trying to form and these things happen. But he didn't explain it the way I'm explaining to you. It's only later on that I received this information that now I understand on a deeper level what was really going on. Inside my subconscious, there was no programming for any exercise. And so I was starting to get my body, starting to get into exercise and to give it vigorous exercise. It caused me to fall sick. I trembled. But guess what? After now I knew this information, I never gave up. The next thing that I had to do was the next morning, every inch of my body being sore with everything against me. All odds were against me. I still went out and ran another 2 kilometers. The first 2 minutes was terrible. My body, every inch, my mind was telling me, stop, stop, stop. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to injure yourself. What are you doing? Wild, the body went. So this is the example of the terror barrier stage or the fear stage. I got fearful, but I went past the fear. As soon as I was running, 10 minutes into running, did my 2 kilometers, came back, the pain was gone. So the stage that I had broken through this wall. And I was now operating with a new idea. The why had become my new paradigm. And my body now knew the why conditioning, because every day, up until this day, I act. Wake up every morning. I do my exercise. I do my jogging. I do my running. Every chance I get, I exercise my body. And what am I getting? I'm getting Y-type results. I've shed a lot of weight. I was 120 kgs. And now I'm more or less like 87 kgs. I lost quite a number of kgs, yeah? I did. That's a true testimony right there. Because I knew exactly what I was doing. I went through the wall against all odds. That's the exact same process of growth. And once you go past that wall, it's called freedom. This is where you enjoy the freedom. But automatically, are you going to enjoy the freedom? No. What is the strategy? The strategy is to start on making yourself get used to formulating short goals. Exercise on short ideas. Get more confidence. Build confidence. Work on one idea at a time. Don't feel overwhelmed. Because if you imagine if you're trying to deal with 15 or 14 ideas at the same time, what is going to happen to you? You won't win the war. So you have to be strategic about it. Go into it with one enemy at a time. Imagine you are fighting 15,000 people. Would you rather fight 15,000 people all at the same time, or you'd rather fight them one person at a time? So it's the little efforts that you're going to be making that is going to build confidence. As you go about it, pick one habit. If it's waking up early, being your paradigm, you can't wake up early, it's a terrible thing. Start working on that one thing. Once you know exactly your goal, you know you need more time. Once you have that vivid picture in your mind, you know you need more time to be working on your new idea. But waking up is a problem, which is an X-type condition which is in your subconscious mind. Force yourself, set the alarm, get out of bed. Do not even think twice. Just get out of bed. Your mind is going to tell you, why are you waking up early? Why are you waking us up early? What are you rushing for? You've got 24 hours. It's going to tell you all sorts of justifications just to keep you in bed. That's your old paradigm talking. All you have to do is to get up anyway and command your body that this is what we are doing because we are going somewhere. Now I know who I am. Now I know what I'm after. Now I know exactly what I'm going for. So this is exactly what we are trying to describe by this fear lesson. These are your stages of growth. You're going to have to deal with one little situation at a time. One little situation at a time. So our next lesson is leading us into how then do you build confidence? How then do you build the faith that you need to keep going for your goal against all odds? How then do you do that? Is the next question. And I stumbled along a good formula. This is a good book. I read books. This is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He had it lined up way before. This book was written in, let's see. The first edition of this book was written in 19... Let's see here in 1937, a long time ago. I've read the autobiography of Napoleon Hill, so I understand what brought into existence this very book. He went and studied a lot of successful people and compiled 13 principles which they all confirmed through testing that had given them tremendous success in life. So, which source is better for you to learn from than a source which someone dedicated 25 years of their life putting together all this? So, with Napoleon Hill, that's Think and Grow Rich, there's a chapter on faith, visualization, and belief in attainment of desire, the second step towards riches. There's a formula in there, which is called the self-confidence formula. So what I want you to do right now is, as I'm reading this formula to you, I want you to write it down. I'm going to write it on the board eventually so that you take it and you place it somewhere where you can see it every day. That is the self-confidence formula. That is the one thing that is going to build the faith for you to keep going against all odds, against yourself. The war is not won outside until it is won inside. Until you can go past your past programmings. Until you can go past your past paradigms. That's only when you can march with confidence. That's only when you can march with certainty that you're going to achieve your goal. I gave you an example of my gym life, and so today this is the lesson that we are going to go into, and I'm going to take each and every step that he described in his book, which is the self-confidence formula, that you understand exactly what he's trying to educate. That's why I'm here with Success Elementary. Yes, we read books, we study. That's where we get our knowledge. Yes, we follow mentors, people who have gone through these experiences before. What's the reason for you spending 10 years trying to figure stuff out on your own, rather than to go sit at the foot of a mentor and it will reduce that amount of time by a year? What are you doing? Why are you wasting a lot of time? Oh, you think you know it all? That's your self, old self. That primal self that is talking to you that you don't need mentors, you don't need to study. Most of you, the last time you held a book was maybe after school, after high school, after degree program, which is not doing anything for you right now. Because this information they never taught you in school. That's why the education system is somehow underserving people. Though the curriculum is slowly changing, which is a good thing, towards teaching you on the things that really matter in life. Not biography, not geography. What does the movement of plates underneath the earth has to do with your success? But you went for 4 years learning all that. You've got a degree in that. If that was your passion, well, good enough. If you are comfortable and feel satisfied, if you are happy with what you're doing, good for you. But I know a lot of you are dissatisfied because most of these decisions you didn't make. Your parents made them for you. Your friends made them for you. And you are here today stuck because all that advice, all that education hasn't done anything for you. So I encourage you to study a chapter a day, a paragraph a day. I read every day I wake up before I leave for gym. I read every evening before I go to bed. It's a good habit. Trust me. You have to study. You have to study each and every day. Make it a habit. This is how you build habit. This is the chapter that we are going to read today that you use to improve or to program yourself afresh. By the way, you can't get rid of your old program. Napoleon Hill talks of the self-confidence formula. Here we are. He says, first, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my defined purpose in life. You've got to know that. Therefore, I demand of myself persistence, continuous action towards its attainment. And here and now, promise to render such action. You are promising. First stage, You're promising persistence. You're promising continuous action towards your goal. I'll give you the self-confidence formula as a PDF right at the end of this lesson so that you can have it already made and print it so that you can put it anywhere in your bedroom or in your bathroom or in your mirrors, on your fridge, everywhere, so that you see it, that this is what you are pledging to do to build your confidence each and every step of the way. Second, I realized the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So, number 2 is watching his thoughts. He's watching his thoughts and concentrating only on the image of your goal. Number 3, third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. So each and every day, 10 minutes. This is not going to require an hour of your day, guys. This self-confidence formula, I've used it, I still use it today, and it works wonders. It's the reason why I have been able to build successful businesses, because I have committed myself to think only of my goals and not to think of any noise that anyone tries to talk to me. So the third thing is that I will develop 10 minutes demanding of myself the development of my self-confidence. What is it that you are working on? What is it that you are focusing on? You've got those 6 mental faculties: memory, reason, perception, imagination, intuition, and willpower. What is it that you are willing to stick your life to? This is what he's talking about. Knowing exactly what you want and using these steps, this self-confidence formula, such that at the end of the day, you focus on nothing else. You focus on nothing else except your definite goal. You've got a clear mental picture. You dedicate time each day to educate yourself, to study more about that image of how you can transform it from where it is, which is in the spiritual, to its physical equivalence. Let's talk of the 4th step. Number 4. I'm going to use a different color. I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life. This is important. It's clearly written. You've clearly written it down. I was told by one of my good mentors that the first transformational process of converting your goal from spirit into physical is you need to just write it down. That's the first step. You need to dedicate your time to just find a good way of putting it down. I'm happy and grateful now that I've achieved such and such a goal by such and such a time. If you just put it on paper, that's the first step. And you're committing to reading that goal aloud each and every day. I've clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I've developed sufficient confidence for its attainment. You will never stop because it's written down, it's now manifesting. That's the first step of manifesting your goal. So most of you might have goals, but they're all in your head. Write them down. There is a science to that. You so much believe in your goal that you have decided to turn it from wherever the spiritual picture is till you have written it down on paper. Number 5 of the self-confidence formula reads, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of others. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfish, cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. This is very key. You are committing yourself never to judge anyone. Right? Number 5, you're committing yourself never to think negatively. When I talk about duster, never to think negative thoughts. Never entertain all those negative tendencies, a negative attitude. Your attitude is going to be positive, and you're going to have to do things that will help and inspire others to follow you. You don't force people to follow you, my guy. You inspire people to believe in you, because the first thing that you have to do is to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself first. I was told for you to be able to love other people, love yourself first. Kiss yourself. Every morning you wake up, I love myself. That's the only way you can love other people. A lot of people hate themselves. They hate where they are. And how then do you turn around and say you love someone else? But then your actions are going to report very easily that your actions do not represent love. Your attitude does not represent love. Because you don't love yourself. You show that you love yourself by the way you dress yourself, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way your environment is organized. That's the only way you show how to love yourself first, before you claim to love others. So Napoleon Hill, in his 5th step, is telling you to eliminate all those negatives: jealousy, envy, selfishness, cynicism, by developing a love for all humanity. Color has nothing to do with this, because we are all spiritual beings. This is all physical. No one is black, no one is white. We are all human beings. Being human simply means we are spiritual beings first. And spirit is for expansion and for more complete expression. Get rid of that mental programming that you were given, that riches were only meant for a certain group of people. You believe in yourself that because you are a spiritual being, you're not bound by any physical barriers like color, like language, like religion. Napoleon Hill is encouraging you to love, develop a love for all humanity, and get people to believe in you first because you believe in yourself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once every day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions. So I will become self-reliant and a successful person. Back of this formula is a law of nature which no man is yet can able to understand. It has baffled the scientists of all ages. This psychologist He has named the law autosuggestion and let it go at that. So this is the law of auto-suggestion. Napoleon Hill calls it auto-suggestion. But you know what else represents auto-suggestion? Is repetition. No wonder each and every day in the success elementary, before we begin on a new chapter, on a new topic, we have to repeat everything that we have done up until this point. We are learning about this self-confidence formula. So repetition is the key to learning. But what else is the key to learning? Continuous action. You have to take action. If you don't take action about your goal, if you don't take action to study, if you don't take action to focus on that picture of the desire that you want, there is no other magic. There is no other way you are going to transform that which is in the non-physical to become with you in your physical. Because there is no barrier in between. There is no one that can change that. Remember, he's talking of law here. Law simply means no, made, not made by men. Therefore, no man can change or influence. Look at the basic law that you have learned all through the years that you have started learning about science. People talk of gravity. It's a law. People simply had to become aware of this law. That it is happening everywhere, with everyone, every time. That's what this word means. Law. Happening to everything, with everyone, every time. It doesn't fail. As long as you're living within this globe, there is some gravitational force happening. No one invented gravity. People simply gravitated to become aware of it. They discovered that there was something happening consistently, everywhere, with everything, and every time. It doesn't fail. It was a constant. So does the law of autosuggestion. So does the law of repetition. The more you repeat your goal, those 5 simple steps by Napoleon Hill, you will get them printed out as a PDF so that you can have it, print it, and stick it somewhere in your room. That's the formula I used. That's the formula that usually gets me through all the barriers. Is fear going to come to an end? No. It's not going to come to an end. I'm still fearful up to this day. But guess what? As soon as you pass the freedom stage, you are now more confident to make bigger and better goals. But as you proceed, because it's a new goal, you are still going to come head to head with the terror barrier. And as you come head to head with the terror barrier, you know it's just a phase. You know it's just the old programming telling you, no, don't do this. Why are you aggravating yourself? You know, do you need that money anyway? Why do you need to be selling such small things? That's the old chatter that wants to keep you in bondage. Now that you are aware of what's really happening, you don't listen to your old programming. You are programming yourself to new levels. You go with confidence. So you create little goals each and every day. You repeat those goals to yourself. You focus. Eliminate all negative chatter. Quiet all the negative voices. Don't hang around people who are telling you, no, you can't do it. Tell them, yes, I can do it. Hang around people who cheer you along to your success. So today was a lesson on the self-confidence formula. The next time we meet, now that we know the self-confidence formula, we are going to be looking at your self-image. Your self-image. That's one thing that has been keeping you where you are all this time. That's another paradigm that we need to attack. That's another paradigm that you need to understand. That you are operating with an image in your mind about yourself. And to see the best way in which you can change that image. Now that you know the self-confidence formula. It's the law of autosuggestion. It's the law of repetition. But repetition of what? For you to change your self-image. Because it's the self-image that has been keeping you stuck all this while. Because you're operating with an image of yourself. The image of success is absent. The image of poverty is very present. and is alive and well because your ancestors, your grandfathers, your fathers, your mothers has carried on with that image, and it has genetically been passed down to you. To add on to that, the environment in which you grew up in is very dangerous. It solidified that image for you. And we need to see how it affects you, how it affects your everyday movement, how it affects your everyday decisions, how it affects your pocket, your money. And then how do we change that self-image to become a better self-image? The moment you change your self-image, everything else starts making sense. So I'll see you and meet you in the next lesson.
As you see, in the lesson that you just came out from building your confidence, it's all repetition, nothing complicated. But you have to have that commitment that from now onwards, I'm not looking back, I'm going forward. I'm moving forward with my life in the way that I want to move forward. I'm chasing my goal and I'm destined to get it. You're destined, man. You've got something special inside of you. No one should tell you otherwise. No one should ever stop you in your tracks because you're bigger than everything else that is happening around you. Your confidence matters, and keep on working on that confidence. Go over the lesson over and over and over. Take that self-confidence formula, stick it somewhere where you can see it every day, and let it become a part of you as you become a part of it. And then you see magic happening. Trust me, it has changed me a great deal, having that extra, a little bit of confidence in my life. Meet you in the next lesson. You're in for a good one.